Yay!
Hello.
Hello!
It's us. We're here.
Slightly.
Are we loud?
Yeah, I think
We're
so.
loud. People can hear us.
Let us know if you can't hear us for any reason.
You want to be more in frame? We're like, yeah.
Yes.
No
There we
Dylan
go.
today. Dylan is, he's in the middle of changing travel plans so frequently he doesn't know if he's coming or going.
Yes, but he is in Riga.
Yes, he's currently going. He's currently gone.
In not Estonia, in the Latvia.
Latvia.
Tallinn's Estonia, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. But yes, where he is speaking at the annual Zabix conference, which is like a single it's one of those like
it's like Code Garden,
like CubeCon or
yeah.
PlayCon, but it's
or Umbraco Code Garden,
yeah.
where it's like you get lots of people who are very invested in a very specific thing.
Yes.
As opposed to NDC, which is just like, it's a grab bag.
It's tech.
Yeah.
Come and talk about
I'm
tech.
talking about Python in NDC London next year. That'll be fun. Yeah, because I'm talking about my day job and what we do.
Ah, exciting.
And we're a Python shop, so yes.
Nice.
Yes, nice cat playground. The cat is, I don't know where she is right now. We might get her in the background. We'll see.
She's around somewhere.
She's sitting on top of my violin.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's basically.
Yeah, she's identified an object of importance and has decided that she needs to be in its vicinity so that she can maintain her own importance.
Yes. And yeah, I am having a mental health day because I have not had a proper day off for like a third of a year.
Something like that. Yeah.
And
despite my bullying.
Yeah. And so I've come over to Eli's house and left my laptop at home so that I can't work.
I mean, you've still been on your work Discord.
But that's on my phone, and it was only so
you
that
can't
I
not
could
have your phone.
Respond to messages going, yes, no, I do understand.
You do know how to write code, actually.
Yes. I haven't managed to spend 35 years employed as a programmer without learning how to program. But yes, and you have been just working.
Yeah, no, I have actually been working. I've been doing various bits and bobs of my day job, which if people want to know more about, they can come to NDC London next year and hear me talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I've basically been working all the hours and then some additional ones because we've had 2 really quite crunchy deadlines at work. We have new hardware that has finally started shipping and people are getting it in their hands, and we didn't get our development units of said hardware from the manufacturer. They were a month, 6 weeks late in delivering it, and so we were supposed to have had 2 months to get our app updated and working with the new device.
Yeah, it's with about like 3 working days or something. It was not a lot of time.
And then yesterday I had an engagement with a very major customer to go and get things working on their network, and so I turned up. And
after like a not insignificant amount of travel as well.
Yes, sort of getting a train from Sheffield at 7 o'clock in the morning and getting to them for 10 o'clock and then working through till 6 o'clock in the evening. Lots of gnarly networking things. So basically needed to be using the internet and also an internal Wi-Fi network, and also specific kind of proprietary audio networking system that pumps 256 channels of audio over a single Cat6e Ethernet cable.
Love that. What could go wrong?
Well, everything that did go wrong went wrong, and which was made more challenging by the fact that the network engineer was off for the day, sick, because he had migraines, and by the end of the day, so did I. So yes.
So you did all of that crunch,
all of that crunch and everything, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so then, yes, on the way back, I kind of pinged my boss and said, "I'm taking a mental health day tomorrow," and he said, "Just the one. Why don't you do?
Why don't you do 2?"
Yes.
Yes.
And so, yeah. So I'm having a mental health long weekend.
Yes.
Which would be
You've earned it.
nice.
You've earned it.
I have. So yeah, gonna lovely chat with you people and try and keep up with what you're all saying in the chat there.
Mostly just hello.
And, yes.
Hex has said Discord reminds me of the data leak from the age verification experts they used. Yeah, we can talk about that if you want. Have you seen this? Did you see this?
I've heard of a few disasters around this. I haven't heard about Discord in particular.
Yeah, Discord. You know how we have to prove that we're not children in order to be allowed to use the internet, because obviously children using the internet would be terrible and would scar them for life in ways that existing in the world otherwise wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
It's not like living in the UK just fucks you up by default or anything. But so we all have to like put our driving licenses or whatever on Discord, or find one that is Keir Starmer's from the first result of Google Images or something, or get Norman Reedus from Death Stranding to pretend to be you and verify your age.
Yeah.
And all of that data obviously was being handled very securely. And the chain of custody was tight, and nobody could access this incredibly secure identification data. No, none of that. Obviously, we're having data breaches left, right, and center, and Discord is one of them.
Yes.
Turns out all the people who were pessimistic about this approach being implemented in any way sanely were correct. If you just assume that the government is going to screw up something technologically related, if it's not being directly implemented by GDS, it's going to be fucked somehow. Is my take. GDS is great. Everything else not great.
It's the same thing with the kind of, we want a backdoor into your end-to-end perfect forward secrecy encryption that you use for Signal and WhatsApp and all these sorts of things, and the makers of this are like,
no, we won't.
You don't understand how end-to-end encryption works. We literally don't have the key that we would need to be able to decrypt this for you. And the UK government going, well, you just need to compromise your security then. And then you end up with, even when the government isn't making you deliberately compromise your security, people are still very bad at security. If you make people deliberately compromise it in a very specific way, it's going to take about 30 seconds for all the bad actor black hat types in the world to figure out what that way is, and then
well, it's the $5 wrench security hole, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah.
If anybody has the capability to compromise it, then all you need to do is get hold of that person and hit them with a $5 wrench until they give you that password.
Yeah.
So
and there's the whole end-to-end encryption thing is like, if you want end-to-end encryption, if you want an end-to-end encrypted messaging system, then what you need to do is set up a publicly accessible Dropbox on a Raspberry Pi in your house and secure the endpoint with an SSL, a TLS certificate, and people can send you things over a TLS. There you go. You now have end-to-end encryption, which the government has no access to at all. And if they are going to compromise iMessage and WhatsApp and Signal and all this sort of stuff, then I am going to revert back to my plan of a couple of years ago of creating a social network that is based entirely on creating Dropboxes in your house on a Raspberry Pi, poking it through a Cloudflare tunnel or Tailscale or something like that. And there you go.
Christopher says the most safe is to simply meet in person and exchange paper notes.
Yes, clearly.
No, I mean, there's, especially if you are trying to do something online that is, you very much don't want anybody to be able to see or potentially compromise. Use online to arrange meeting up in a way that is in person.
But we can't discuss most of this because this is a very strict no politics, don't make me tap the sign podcast. So we'll sort of touch on it briefly as it relates to technology. So anyway, specifically what happened with Discord's age verification providers. Who hacked them?
I don't know. Let me go and pull up a news article about it. Discord ID leak. IDs of 70,000 users may have been leaked, Discord says. Potentially been leaked after a cyber attack. I'm reading the BBC News article here.
Yeah.
Hackers had targeted it. No full credit card details, passwords, and messaging activity. Okay. It's conversations with customer support agents rather than the IDs and stuff. But the thing is that because of the identity verification rules that have come in the UK, customer support queries are far more likely to include this kind of very sensitive data.
So yeah, some online commentators have claimed the data breach was bigger. Spokesperson for Discord told the BBC that those claims are inaccurate and part of an attempt to extort payment. Oh, they're true.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely the sort of thing that people say. Yeah.
Discord did not name the third-party company involved, so it was that Discord had outsourced its age verification stuff to a third party that was not secure, essentially.
Yes.
Sally says, is Dylan not here because he couldn't verify his identity to get on? I know for a fact that Dylan has his passport because Dylan is currently Schrodinger quantum superposition of many different places in the world at any given moment.
The thing that that hadn't occurred to me is that all these, Blue Sky and Discord and everyone else who the UK government thinks might be hosting like pornographic terrorists or something. I'm not sure what the purpose is. Anyway, it's not just people who are subjects of the crown that it's a gothmog. Hello to gothmog. But it's because it's based on IP address. And so people from normal countries where they have rights and freedoms come to the UK and try to connect to their social networks or whatever they're doing. And they suddenly get these pop-ups going, you have to verify your age or your identity in order to access this.
You want to have DMs on Blue Sky?
Yeah. And it's just like, it's they're suddenly think they're visiting North Korea or somewhere. But the thing I found very interesting was that the chap who kind of railroaded through all the Online Safety Act, who works for that think tank that I can't remember the name of right now. But yes, kind of like the UK's answer to Project 2025 Heritage Foundation things. Was on the board of directors of one of the age verification services at the time when he was drafting all this legislation.
Right.
And then obviously he would have had to divest himself of that before advising the government on actually enacting the legislation. And so he removed himself from the government process so that he could keep his shares in the companies that stand to make an absolute shed load of money. It's the thingy.
Love that you're trying to explain this to the cat. Like
Carnegie. The Carnegie Trust.
Right.
Andrew Carnegie's thing. So the same chap who paid for Carnegie Hall, which we all know you get to by turning left out of Grand Central Station. Oh, that's Madison Square Garden. Anyway, but yes, and so a clear conflict of interests there, and I keep meaning to look into whether the Carnegie Trust has also made massive investments in like NordVPN and Hotspot Shield and all those things.
NordVPN is the one I have on my computer.
That would be the ultimate hedge.
Yeah.
Sort of invest in the age verification sites and the VPNs.
Well, you said something in the group chat the other day. It was like, I and all the other children use VPNs.
Yes.
Like, because you're just as long as you refuse to verify, you're functionally a child. Yeah.
But no, I've got Proton because I have a Proton mail account. Which
that doesn't work on Windows on ARM for me.
Doesn't it?
No, the client is all kinds of messed up. At least that's what I have diagnosed the problem as being. But it would just getting stuck into some sort of boot loop.
Right.
So I switched to NordVPN. But yes, Proton if it works. That's what I had
Yes,
before.
no, Proton works on Mac, certainly. And yes, it's just very occasionally, if I forget to specifically say which sort of country I wanted to connect to, I do get some of the websites that I'm looking at suddenly start appearing in Dutch.
Yeah, I'm in Oslo by default, or Norway by default.
Yes.
So I opened Google Maps on this on that computer today, and I was like, why have I defaulted to think I'm in Oslo? And it's because my VPN is set to Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I did do age verification on Blue Sky.
I think I did as well.
But
although Blue Sky's having a moment.
Well, yes. I mean, let's talk about Blue Sky.
Yeah. So it's a whole. I mean, we do have to talk a little bit about politics because Blue Sky is an American corporation.
Yes.
In the current American political moment, and therefore they have certain pressures acting on them when it comes to moderation of certain political voices, let's say.
Yeah.
And you also have the thing that Blue Sky as a community was largely sort of kickstarted by a bunch of really quite left-wing, largely transgender posters who migrated from Twitter early, right?
Yes.
And that's been the sort of foundation of a lot of the culture of Blue Sky. And so right now there's a lot of people who are promoting hate on Blue Sky, particularly towards the transgender sector of the population, which obviously we have no bias here.
No.
Right? But I'm trying to be as like couching my language as much as possible here. But for example, certain news articles that have been shared widely that suggest that political actors, enactors of political violence in the state recently might have been transgender with no actual foundation, but obviously it's part of this ongoing campaign.
Yes, and the hateful and violent left.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are all evil and demon possessed.
And so
sowing division.
There are certain accounts on Blue Sky that have done a lot of this, and a large sector of the user base of Blue Sky, some of the most active users, are very keen that such accounts should be suspended. And whenever Blue Sky moderation comes up, or whenever any of the mods or the sort of management board of Blue Sky essentially post, people will respond saying, "Why haven't you banned these people yet?" Because it's just got to a point where nothing seems to there are moderation decisions that seem to align with the goal of promoting this sort of bigotry against transgender people. And this kind of came to a head recently. And Jay, the CEO of Blue Sky, has made what I would call some quite serious PR missteps when it comes to navigating the situation, let's say. So she basically said something that to me equates to dismissing these concerns essentially. And it's a weird one because Blue Sky as a company never really set out to be the next big social media. They didn't set out to be the next Twitter. They were building this thing as like a protocol and almost the foundational layer beneath which, like on top of which, social media platforms could be built. And then this one was the proof of concept, and they never intended for it to be the only one. But because of circumstance, it did, because of Elon taking over Twitter. And so you have this thing where there are these people who sort of want to be left alone to build their protocols and the tools on top of that, who are now having to moderate a massive social media site with a user base that is difficult politically in the current moment, because if they want to not get squashed by the US regime as a corporation, they're going to have to be very, very careful about how they position themselves as a company and what sort of things they're seen to be promoting. But at the same time, I personally have ethical concerns about the ways that the moderation is handled on the website.
Yeah.
But also, where the hell else am I going to go? I love Blue Sky. So
Mastodon.
Yeah, I tried Mastodon and it was just like, I'm an anarchist. I wish I loved it more.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, it is. We are very fortunate in that we have the world's smallest Twitter, but it is sufficiently active that you can legitimately call it a fire hose.
Yes.
Just a signal chat which regularly processes 1,000 messages a day.
Yep, it's brilliant. So
Um,
Marie has said the fun with the paradox of tolerance. I saw a great framing of the paradox of tolerance recently, which is that if you start to view it as a social contract, it stops being a paradox. If you agree to the social contract of tolerance, then you are protected by it. But
If you-
people
yes.
who do not, and say that, for example, like women are subhuman, transgender people are subhuman, people of color are subhuman, for example,
Left-wing people are subhuman.
if you, for example,
Right-wing people,
get
to
up
be
on
fair,
get up on a stage and ask to be proven wrong while proclaiming such views,
yeah,
you have opted out of that social contract of tolerance, and you should not expect to be protected by it. Like,
Yeah.
you must be both bound and protected by it. And there are certain people of society for whom the laws protect but do not bind, who are not used to that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my favorite take on the paradox of tolerance, is that it really it is a social contract, and as soon as you violate it badly enough, you have forfeited the right to be protected by it.
Yes. And, you know, it's not like the lessons of what happens if you tolerate intolerance are so remote in the distant past that we can't possibly be expected to remember them anymore. So, yes, it's trying to work. Every sort of now and then, I kind of do a quick analysis of the world and try and work out where the hell you can go.
Up where the bow of the ship is still pointing upwards towards the sky as the rest of it sinks into the ocean.
Yes.
And there's still some deck chairs there to rearrange. It's great.
Some deck chairs, and the band has moved up to that end of the ship so that they can carry on playing until the very last minute. Although it's funny that you should say up, because it does always seem to be quite north that you can head. So it's like Scandinavia. Seems to be pretty good there.
Yeah, I mean, caveat, we're white, so there's if we're thinking about moving there, like I have heard from people of color, particularly Black people in Finland and Norway, that the experience is quite different.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was not aware of that.
I think honestly, largely because it's so homogeneously white in general, and obviously, like, our experience of these places is typically like big cities.
Yes.
So that's less true, but
yeah. And Canada, of course, is the option on the in the new world.
Yes.
And yes, I don't know what that's like for intersection people, but
I like there's awfulness everywhere.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
So, but like, anyway, yes, no politics.
Yeah, but as always, the tech,
another podcast for that.
The tech message to take away from that, I think, is that the people stuff is always the hard stuff. Like the actual, like, oh, we're building a protocol, like, that's whatever. It's always the socio part of the social technical system that is unsolvable and has to just be managed, I think.
Yes. No, I did my talk.
In Perth.
In Perth. I don't think have we done an episode since then?
I don't know.
We didn't do last week.
No.
And I think it was the week before that I was in Perth.
Very possibly.
So yes, it's a talk. I did it in Oslo, where it was very well received. But it's called Reasons to be Cheerful. And it was attempting to sort of take the AI, and AI is going to replace us all, and technology is destroying the planet, and data centers are going to make climate change worse, and all this sort of thing. And I just went off and looked for some kind of good news stories, little bit inspired by the Russell Howard Good News comedy show on BBC Three, because obviously a good news show doesn't want a wide viewership, so you wouldn't put it on any of the mainstream terrestrial channels. But yes, and then at the end, I was kind of like, go forth and be happy. And then as I was running through my slides and everything, I kind of went, well, that's easy to say, though, isn't it? And do I have any tips on how to actually be happy? And I thought about some of the work that I've been done with my therapist over the last few years, and I do. And so I can share that as a kind of sweetener at the end of that political ranting bit. And it is basically to a certain extent, stop watching the news.
I have unsubscribed from a couple of sources of miserable news in the last few months, and it's done wonders, actually.
I mean, avoid CNN like the plague, for example. But, you know, generally don't read the newspapers, because there are two kinds of newspapers. There are the ones that are the problem, and there are the ones that won't shut up about the problem. And neither of those are any good for you. And stop focusing on how people are behaving in the large, as kind of like large groups of people, and focus on interactions with individual people, and look at sort of how that person is behaving, and
look for the helpers,
the helpers, and all this sort of stuff, because there's that saying that the combined IQ of a mob is the lowest IQ of anybody in the mob, divided by the number of people in the mob.
A person is smart and kind, people are dumb, panicky animals.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And so if you focus on individual people, then they will be kind and they will be nice, and you can have a lovely chat with them. And I very rarely interact with individual people. I mean, you know, obviously you do, and there are these people, and that's why we have.
There are people I know personally that I think are absolute tire fires.
Yes.
Or tar pits,
but they're fairly easy to avoid, and they are the exception rather than the rule. And look at the world around you. Sometimes I get sort of lost inside my head, and what I have to do is pull myself back into the moment. And it's kind of, there's an exercise that my therapist and I came up with, which was to look around and notice, and kind of like say either out loud or just in your head, but name 7 things that you can see and kind of describe them. So you have adjective, noun, adjective, noun, adjective, noun. Because there's this idea that you can only have 7 things in your conscious mind at a time. And so if you deliberately put 7 things that are immediately around you into your conscious mind, and focus on those, and sort of look at them and go, that's an interesting tree, and the colors are starting to change because it's heading into the autumn, and the leaves will be falling soon, and oh, that car's that interesting putty color that we never used to have until a couple of years ago. When did we start getting that putty color? And before you know where you are, you've completely forgotten about otters being on fire in the Gulf of wherever. I made that up. Please don't go Google to find out where the otters are on fire. As far as I am aware, there are no flammable otters currently suffering in the world.
I've got better at doing the noticing that I'm sort of doom spiraling and going, okay, I'm not actually having any like thoughts or insights, or like, you know, this is not meaningful. This is just my version of what an animal in captivity does when it's like trying to chew off its own leg.
Yes.
And noticing that that's what I'm doing, accepting that that's a behavior that I have, and like trying to stop.
Yeah.
Without judging myself for having done it.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to get into a spiral of like, everything's terrible. So
it is.
Yeah. One of the things I do when I'm in that state is I will, like, you know, I'll hop in the group chat and see what nonsense everyone's up to talking about.
I mean, you can reliably count on that. Everyone should have a group chat with people who,
with hundreds of your most insane best friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who have a kind of unspoken, where they have created a dedicated separate chat for people who want to talk about the horrors or want to talk about specific subjects, and the main group chat is literally just
everything
very
else.
Small Twitter.
Yes, basically, yeah.
With where if anybody were
struggling, then they can reach out, and it's a big old support group,
and it's a sufficiently small that you can. We've never actually had to do this, but if we decided we needed to make a moderation decision, we could fairly quickly come to a consensus on whether we needed to do that.
I think that it sort of got to the stage of like the maximum number of people where that's still true. We're sort of we're about
we are
that.
About Dunbar's number, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The monkey sphere,
which is one of the things that like makes things like Mastodon, for example, like running a Mastodon server hard is, and it's one of the things, because Origami has mentioned Mastodon was supposed to be the tech solution to the socio-technical problems, or the tech solution to the Nazi bar issue.
Yes.
And in that sense, it kind of is, because if you keep your Mastodon server small enough, you can prevent it becoming a Nazi bar. But what happened, and it wasn't a Nazi bar problem, but what happened with Hackaderm, the big instance that lots of tech people flocked to in the initial aftermath of Elon Musk buying Twitter. And I was active on there for a while. That's what my Mastodon account is on that server. Yeah. But that was just a server that Chris Nova and a few other people had set up, like, for her friends. It was like, but it was just because she knew what she was doing ops wise, and like the rest of the team knew what they were doing ops wise. It blew up, and it was able to handle blowing up in size, and it became like the tech, one of the, like, certainly for DevRel, that was where you went. And that put a lot of strain on the socio side of that socio-technical system. And I think partly because it got so big that it stopped being a number of people that you could keep in your head and reasonably account for the opinions of, and it started becoming a governance thing.
Yes.
And I never want to be in charge of something like that. So no. I don't envy the people who were at all. And I think they did pretty well with some pretty rough circumstances, especially after Chris Nova died.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my experience of Mastodon, was joining that server and then sort of realizing that I liked the fire hose of everybody being in one server.
Yeah.
And that Mastodon by design isn't that, and can never be that, and will always have to be fragile in that way, because that's part of the design of, you can always defederate.
Yeah. I think because my issues with Mastodon,
the culture also reminded me very much of like 2015 woke scoldy Tumblr.
Yes.
Really,
very
like
woke
really
scoldy.
And like I was on Tumblr in 2015. I've done my time.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just assume that people are acting in good faith unless proven otherwise.
If
I'm too old for that.
Willing to put in the effort, you can find something problematic about.
You can always score points off somebody for something.
Yeah, it's like when in the I think it was the 80s, when the term politically correct was a big deal, certainly in the UK, and yes, people were complaining that Bar Black Sheep was racist, and
saw a good skit of that the other day. Someone trying to buy from Bar Black. She was like, "Hey man, you got the stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah. What do you need?" Oh, 3 bags full, mate.
Yeah. I said, Bar Black Sheep. Have you any? Well, yeah, obviously. But yes,
yeah,
but
you can find anything, and there are still people who do that on Tumblr, and they just get the like. The Keanu from the Matrix, like blocking, like, no, we're not doing this discourse anymore. And like, notice how he's winning, because he is blocking.
Yes.
And that's how you deal with it now.
But no, my problem with Mastodon really was that it was written in Ruby, and
it made it hard to run.
It made it very hard to run.
There are other clients. There are other, it's not AT Proto.
Fediverse.
The Fediverse protocol. What's it called though?
Something pub.
Activity pub.
Yes.
I always forget. And there are other things that are built on top of that are not.
There are now
nightmares to run.
But yes.
But yeah,
Mastodon
like running
itself
running Mastodon servers as a service was a viable business, because it's such a pain in the ass to do.
It was hilarious and also tragic reading Chris Nova's posts about the efforts
to
scale Mastodon to a point where it could cope with like 100,000 users. And you're just looking at it in 2020, 2019, whenever it was, and going, I'm pretty sure you could do that on like 1T4 large if it were written in .NET.
Hey, well, maybe write a Mastodon client.
Well, I thought about it, but yeah. Like I say,
again, the architecture of the thing means that it's not quite what I want out of a social media. No. My ideal social media is Tumblr.
Yes.
That's the love of my life, and when it dies, I will become a fundamentally different person. But you still get posts in chronological order. It's great.
Tumblr is out of all of them, I think Tumblr would be the easiest one still to clone.
So the issue that Tumblr has is it's very expensive to host that much media.
That's the thing, is
it doesn't, and Tumblr does not make money. Like, the user base is we are so resistant to being marketed to. People have said, oh, they will kick in money for like a subscription to Tumblr. Like, I pay for Tumblr.
Yeah.
But what that doesn't get you is moderation decisions that aren't overtly transmisogynistic all the time.
But my theory is that because somewhere sitting around in all my GitHub repositories, and I think hidden away in a private one, I do have the start of a social network that is based entirely. The idea was that instead of paying for a social network, you pay for something like an Alexa or a sort of Apple HomePod or something. Basically, a piece of consumer electronics that sits in your house and is connected to the internet and has storage in it. And
people can drop into it.
You connect it to other people's, and it uses you generate public keys for other people, and then if they have a public key, they can send you stuff. But
it's the Dropbox thing you were just talking about,
like the Dropbox thing. And then you can kind of build a Tumblr and a Twitter and a Signal.
And you're paying for your own hosting only.
That's
so one of the things about running your own Mastodon server is that you become liable for all of the images content, right?
Yes.
Like legally liable.
Huge amounts of that.
And if, for example, there's a risk that any kind of material that it is literally illegal to have ever owned, regardless of whether or not you looked at it, regardless of whether or not you originated it, then you put yourself at that risk.
Yes.
By standing up your own Mastodon server and following people.
Yeah.
And that's not a risk that many people are prepared to take on.
No.
So simply running your own Mastodon server, like people do it. And I think the calculus there is that they're probably personally not ever going to get in trouble for such a thing. But it is a risk.
Yeah.
And one of the things about, I think, the AT protocol, AT Proto, is that there are implementations that don't expose you in that way. Because there's separation between like the app view and the PDS, and I don't understand the architecture of AT Proto. But
AT Proto, because I looked into this because it sounded quite a lot like actually what I was talking about doing, and I think it would theoretically be possible to build
your
what
thing
I'm
on
talking
AT Proto.
about on AT Proto.
Right.
And what you would do is go into Currys or go onto Amazon or whatever. And if you were like us, you could buy a Raspberry Pi and an 8 terabyte USB SSD or whatever, and
do that.
Attach the two things together and install a Docker container.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you can go onto Amazon and spend 60 quid.
What that doesn't get you as a social media network, though, is all of the high quality transgender shit posting that comes from people who are not techie enough to get a Raspberry Pi and download and run a Docker container in it.
Yes, but that's the thing. That's why you have the device.
Yeah, that is just sold out of the box.
That it comes out of the box and probably has like a small touch screen on it that is literally just so you can set up the account and it'll show you notifications and things.
Yeah.
And then this then eventually, in my sort of delusions of executive function, forms the backbone of also my artificial intelligence, augmented reality, personal demons.
Yes, I want that so badly.
And,
I want a fat palace cat to be following me around and knocking shit off the counters.
Well, pretty soon somebody is going to have to buy me a pair of these new Meta Ray-Bans with the displays, because we're going to need to support them at work. And so
oh gosh, it's a hard life you live, isn't it?
It really is. I have the worst job. But no, we are getting to the point where I will have. Also, hopefully soon, I'll have programmers to do all this annoying programming, and I'll be doing the kind of exploratory research and development type
all the
stuff.
Prototyping stuff. Yeah. You'll be doing the build it once and throw it away bit.
Yes.
Yeah. And they'll be doing the build it a second time, but make it like
I've
robust.
fallen off the screen.
Yes. You keep doing that.
Yes, but yeah, no. If I can get those, because I'm already fiddling with my company's new glasses on the basis of trying to get Guitar Tab up on them, which I'm pretty sure I can do, and that's fun. But once we have ones that sort of work outside and are bright enough, so these new Meta ones, I mean, they're Meta, which is a massive problem for me, but we do have Android XR coming, and Apple, I think, are probably announcing something interesting, like, because they've got the Vision Air, which is the sort of cheaper, lighter version of the Vision Pro, but it's still essentially like a VR headset. But Apple will probably be the first people to release kind of, oh, that's what AR glasses are supposed to look like. But anyway, there's my first thing that I'm going to release on those, which is my running application, where you draw out the route that you want to run on Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever, and then you go out and you start your run, and there's just coins.
Yeah, or can you have it be like rings, like in Sonic, or
in-app purchase?
You know, yeah. Have like the fox sort of, that you follow around in is it Skyrim? Like the foxes that always ended up near places with loot because that was where the mesh was densest, and they followed the mesh. Do you remember that Emergent Properties?
Was that Skyrim?
Classic. I don't know if it was Skyrim. It was like a big MMO type, or like MMO open world thing. And the foxes would always lead you to loot because that was just emergently by the way that their movement was designed.
There was also going to be the one for the retro sort of my age group, which was when they're just little round dots with occasional bits of fruit, and if you turn around and look behind you, there's 4 coloured ghosts called Clyde, and I can't remember the others.
Jeff has said zombies chasing you just below your PB time. I'm pretty sure there is a running app that does that.
There's an app called Zombies Run. Which I don't know if it's augmented reality.
I think it's like directional sound.
Right. Okay. That would. Yeah.
Because I remember people talking about it when, like, with reference to the Nightjar, which was a directional sound horror app.
Oh yes.
Back when Benedict Cumberbatch was still cool, and he was the voice for it. So yeah. I mean, no, he was never cool, but back when people thought he was cool.
Yes. But no, eventually, and again, I've already started messing about with the AI parts of this because I need to build Jarvis or Friday or whatever as part of this. But yes, to embody Jarvis as an animal that is constantly with you, like the demons in his Dark Materials.
Yeah.
And then there's a social aspect to that, where if you are friends with, anyone who you are friends with, you can see their little animal as well.
And you can be like, our animals can be friends.
Interacting with each other. And if you sort of like, oh, can you give me that
Oh my God,
link?
we could have Pokemon in real life.
You could have Pokemon, you could have Digimon.
Yep.
You could have, so it would be...
What Pokemon Go wishes that it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, and then being me, I would probably sort of end up making this an open platform thing and just saying to people, it would be like Roblox, and you'd be able to
build on it,
build your own characters and put those things in there. And obviously, if you got to that point, then they would have to be NFTs. It would all have to be running on the blockchain.
Yes, of course.
Because there are 2 choices. It's either closed and proprietary or open and running on the blockchain. There is no other option for anything.
Oh, thinking about open source stuff. I'm trying to remember who it was that was talking about I don't know if it was one of us or if it was Tristan who was talking about you have your social media site that's just all a Tumblr clone that's just people forking each other's GitHub repos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, how long would it take of us trying to do this before GitHub noticed and tried to shut it down? The thing I love about Tumblr as a social media that nowhere else does, nowhere else, is that when you repost a post, when you reblog a post on Tumblr, you can add a comment to it, which is kind of like quote tweeting something and adding, but you don't lose immediate visibility more than 2 layers in. You have like the whole thing, but you can do that, or you can add tags. And the tags are not like restricted to be one word.
Spaces.
Tags can have spaces. Tags can have all kinds of punctuation if you want to get clever with it, because Tumblr is coded like shit. And that is your sotto voce, your commentary that only your followers will see. And if somebody reblogs that post from you, they do not have to keep your commentary on it if it was in tags. If you added it as an actual comment on the blog, on the post, they will keep your commentary. And if they want to opt in to keep your commentary in the tags, they can peer review them, they can copy them and add them as a comment themselves to be like, you were really funny in your tags. I think these deserve to go on the post. And it adds this whole dimension of like, you know, I can reblog something and add like a comment that's just like, oh my God, this reminds me of this one time, or like in jokes with my friends or whatever, without being noisy on someone else's post and without rendering that post annoying to reblog for somebody who doesn't want my commentary on it. And I miss it endlessly because I'll be like, I want to tag post retweets or reskeets on Blue Sky. I want to like, you know, add in like a little thing that makes it funny just to me, but I can't without quote tweeting it, and that's too much.
See, that reminds me of something. I've had so many ideas. Do you know what? Sometime in like the late 90s, I had the idea of an address book where you could connect with other people and say, this person can see my contact details, or this person can see my postal address, that person can see my email addresses as well, and all this sort of stuff.
The claims and permissions.
Well, it's basically Facebook.
Yeah.
I invented Facebook in the late 90s, but I never got around to doing anything with it. At some point in the noughties, I think it was, I had this idea where if you had a sort of central storage place, you have a browser plugin that lets you annotate, let's say. Deface was, I think, the word I had in mind at the time. Web pages with like probably just drawing tools that go on an overlay that the plugin makes work, and then there's also a little kind of social network.
You can share those with other people,
And so, if you go to you're just randomly browsing the web. You're not sort of like going to look at anything in particular.
Suddenly you come to like
happen on a page which is a review of The Shawshank Redemption, and if you're friends with me, you'll see sort of comments written all over it, going, "No, it isn't. It's terrible."
You go to the Google Fonts page for Poppins, and you just see like photos of me going,
yes, yeah, that's it. And yeah, it's a kind of graffiti, I think I was going to call it, like web graffiti.
And that's sort of augmented reality, but for the web.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea and Minecraft Earth that they did, where you could go out into the street and build stuff in Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it would be there for other people.
Yes.
And I think Microsoft made Mojang. I think Microsoft might have acquired Mojang.
They did.
To make them build that.
Ah, right.
Because that was their proof of concept.
Oh,
that was their sort of Blue Sky thing for the Azure, like digital twin of the entire world thing that they had. Like they had anchor points.
Yeah, the whole digital twin thing is really cool,
like,
as a concept. Yeah.
But yes, the idea that, because there's the horrors of Black Mirror, for example. So one of the kind of run through conceits of Black Mirror is that everybody has their eyes removed, like pretty close to birth, and replaced with Z eyes, which give you kind of augmented reality and everything. And the awful sort of result of that is that adverts just keep coming flying at you, and pop-ups and interstitials and everything all over the place. But if you had a version of that was completely open, and that people could just digitally,
or you could at least do the pie hole thing of like removing adverts at the source, you know.
But you know, you could we could have like instead of having a signal chat, just have a kind of a layer. So you've got all these layers that are being overlaid on the world as you're navigating it in real life. And you can choose which layers you have active in particular contexts. So you could have a work or lens even. There you go. That's the word,
we could walk into the Dubliner in Oslo and have like, I want to see the photos from like 2019 when you're here or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I do think that augmented reality, once we get past these teething issues with, like, currently the glasses have a rectangle where you can see things, and it is not big enough for anything. It's like I've got a pair of X-Real glasses which you can watch Netflix on them, and it's not actually a bad experience. It is reasonably good. But you either have the screen just moves around with you everywhere that you
Which
look,
is disorientating.
really disorienting, or you can pin it in place, and then it stays there, which is less disorienting. But for the screen to be big enough for you to actually watch, you have to kind of keep your head very, very still, because any movement at all,
Yeah.
and sort of the top gets cut off or the bottom gets cut off or whatever. But we're looking at sort of the waveguides built into the lenses are getting about 50% bigger every year, which means it's going to take them 3 or 4 years
another Moore's
to
law
be the
type.
whole lens.
Ooh.
So yes, although it's possible that there'll be issues, but anyway. And the brightness, I mean, the new Meta Ray-Bans, the problematic company glasses, they're 1,000 nits through a waveguide, which is really bright.
Yeah.
And apparently stuff does actually look quite solid on those. The only issue is there's no way of sending black through a waveguide.
Yeah.
So if you want stuff to be black, you have to kind of put a cover on the glasses.
Yeah, which to be fair, like, depending on what
watching...
I'm on the plane and I want to be watching something.
Yeah.
What is the battery life like? Because I know that you said that they have what to me now feels like a very limited battery life of like an hour and a half or something with the extra ones.
My company's new glasses,
yeah,
which
the new ones.
monochrome, 8 hours.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
And I think you said there have been some that get quite warm within a time window.
There are some that get quite warm, but that's the processor which is on board.
Right, and you're no longer doing that as part of what your company's doing. Is not
the majority of the stuff on ours is done on phone over Bluetooth Low Energy. Bluetooth Low Energy itself is becoming higher bandwidth and more stable. And I don't think you're going to get to the point where you can leave the house with the glasses and nothing else. But I do. But
when do you ever leave without your phone?
Where you just have a puck,
yeah,
that is in your pocket,
yeah,
and you may occasionally sort of have a cable that you can connect.
Yeah, I like the idea of, like, we already have tricord, like, we already have our everything device that we carry with us everywhere. Glasses as an extension to that, as an accessory to that. Yeah. I think works really well, like, in terms of ergonomics.
The thing that I really like as an idea, though, is because, part of the problem with your phone is it's very breakable. The front and the back of my iPhone 16 are both made of glass, and it's Gorilla Glass 5 or whatever it is, and so it's fairly robust.
Yeah, but like, I once had a phone get run over. There's not a lot you can do about that. Yeah.
And so we kind of buy covers for them, which make them bigger and all this kind of stuff. But because another problem that hasn't been solved with augmented reality is how do you actually interact with stuff, and there's no tactile feedback. So I think a lot of it is you're still going to want to be kind of like typing or whatever.
Yeah.
But once you've got full lenses here,
yeah,
if you put like a little QR code in each corner of a slab of plastic, or what is essentially a slab of plastic, that you can just carry around, then the glasses can make it look like it's got a screen on it, and then you can continue to interact with that in the way that you do with your phone. Except it'll be a lot easier to make that into something where you can scroll it out and it turns into something that's more the aspect ratio of an iPad. Right. And if you make that black,
then you can have black on the screen.
Then you can have a screen that rolls up to the size of a scroll that you can stick in your, Anyway, this is where I think we're at, and I don't want to come over all Ray Kurzweil and stuff, but I do now have a job that actually pays me to spend a certain amount of time every week keeping on top of this and subscribing to newsletters.
And it's not a bullshit job either. Like a lot of stuff in, I mean, tech in general, but AI in particular, like, are what the late great David Graeber would call bullshit jobs, and yours actually isn't.
No, we are actually attempting to help people to communicate in ways that and engage with culture as well. I think this is a really big thing. Is I was in the Dutch National Theatre watching a Dutch play being performed in Dutch. It was Mother Courage and Her
Yes.
Daughters by Brecht.
What was the funny thing that it did because it didn't predict the completion of the
Oh,
word?
okay. So when you're doing real-time speech recognition with the engine that we were using for that particular performance, it's not designed to do real-time, but you can trick it by just getting it to do a 3-second window. And you update it every quarter of a second. And so essentially you keep sending the same audio, except you drop the first 250 milliseconds and add on the next 250 milliseconds. And so it's a 3-second window. And so it's great as long as none of the actors make a word last longer than 3 seconds.
But if you're at the opera,
if you're watching somebody with an awful lot of emotion say freedom, freedom, freedom in Dutch, the Dutch word for freedom is Frida. The Dutch word for Friday is Vrijdag. And so the subtitles came up in my glasses as freedom, freedom, Friday. And that was quite funny because obviously it's more likely that somebody is saying Friday than freedom. And so the stochastic probability stuff. But I'm working on something very exciting in that regard. Yes, something patentable.
Oh, very nice. This is news to me as well, and I normally get the inside scoop on everything that they're doing. So,
and I am not a fan of software patents, but software patents do enable two things. They stop somebody else filing for the patent after you invented the thing and then telling you can't do the thing anymore because they now hold the patent. And they also get VCs to give you money.
You can also patent things and still make them free to use.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the SHA-2 family of hashes.
Yes.
They are patented by the NSA, but they are available for non-profit use.
The WebP image and video format.
Yeah.
So, yes. Right.
We're at time.
We are at time. That's all we've got time for. I think we rescued that from what was becoming dangerously political at the start.
Political and also bleak.
Yes.
The horrors persist, but so do we.
Rendle's augmented reality AI utopia, all watched over by machines of loving grace.
Yep, absolutely. We're reverse Roko's basilisking this.
We are.
We're going to make the AI and it's going to love us.
Yes.
Like our parents never did.
I'm the one who's going to make it. and I'm nice. I am nothing if not nice.
All right. Have a fantastic weekend. Rest of your week, everybody. We will be back. We might even have Dylan next week.
Have Dylan next week.
Amazing.
Yes, but we will definitely be here.
Yes. Yes, we will.
And I'm going to go and watch comfort shows on Netflix. I'm currently rewatching Stranger Things season 4. Ready for the new season to land next month.
I need to watch the second half of Alien Earth. I watched the first 4 episodes. I know. I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
I love the way that they have opted to have our protagonists need to make slightly naive and nonsensical decisions in order for the plot to move along, and the way that they have created characters, and I'm trying not to spoil here.
Yes.
Created characters for whom that's a very natural way of acting.
Yeah, it is completely understandable, believable.
Yes.
Yeah. It
and also
desperately
desperately sad, which that's compelling to me.
Yeah.
So,
but no, highly recommended. Although obviously it is alien.
It's horror, and it's psychological horror as well as horror.
There's some unpleasantness.
Yes.
But if you liked the first Alien movie in particular, and have been increasingly disappointed by some of the more recent sequels.
I love Prometheus and Covenant. They're bad, but I love them.
Yes.
I'm a sucker for that kind of film.
Romulus was excellent.
Romulus was amazing. Yeah. And good.
And Alien Earth is very much in the sort of vein of Romulus.
Although they did do, and I know I said this in the group chat, but they did my boy Timothy Oliphant so dirty with that hair color choice. Yes. My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, we will wrap up for the week. All right.
See you next time. Take care.
How do I do the thing?
Just the blue button at the top right of the thing there. That's the one. And
this one?
Yeah. No, hang on. Oh, hang on.
I don't have it because I'm not a guest. I'm not a host. You got to do it from your phone. Do it from your phone.
It from my phone.
We're internationally acclaimed tech thought leaders.
No, Hannes is a thought leader.
Yes, Hannes is the currently designated thought leader.
I'm entering the studio
We're gonna get
on my phone. So yeah, you can you can access that.
Yeah, can I put you on? You can be on here twice.
There we go.
Yes,
Yes.
I knew it twice.
All right. See you next week. Bye.